So, I mean, we've all heard the phrase anyway. But you're not a human being having a spiritual experience. You're a spiritual being having a human experience, right? That's really important to make the distinction. But if that's true, then naturally it raises the question as to why this life, this moment, this timeline feels so random, feels like it's out of control, out of your control, should I say. Why does it feel like things are happening to us? And why do outcomes feel so uncertain, right? And so out of our hands? The truth of it is, the reason why we feel that way as humans is simply because we're clinging to the illusion of separation still. Yeah? Now, I want us to talk about one of the few moments we actually see consciousness revealing itself to us as humans. Yeah? We actually gain like a look behind the veil. Yeah? And that's to do with when we flip coins, right? Because this simple act, right, often overlooked, Jesus, what's happening to my tongue? Which is often overlooked, right, holds the entire metaphysical structure of the human experience, right? So what tends to happen? We grab a coin, we assign outcomes, yeah, heads or tails, and we ignore the edge. So technically, it's a 33.333 to infinity chance of having heads, tails, or the edge, but nobody ever considers the edge. But don't worry about it, we'll get to that. So what happens is this: we flip the coin, yeah? Once we flip the coin, what happens? We hope, we guess, we fear, we assign meaning to the outcome, yeah? And that moment, that projection of your preference is literally the moment time begins. Stop there. If we replace the coin with a human, that's exactly when your human experience also began. But we'll get to that, you see. Now, once we flip the coin, yeah, we watch it spin through space, and in that spin, we feel the illusion of choice, yeah? We feel it, yeah? And then it lands, and then what do we say? We knew it, or we flip it again, or we feel a certain way about the outcome, yeah? Now, when it goes our way, how did we know, yeah? Which part of you knew the outcome? Because it wasn't logic or reason, yeah? It was literally consciousness revealing itself, yeah? There was a part of you that knew, and that part of you is consciousness, because it chose before the human actually had the words to describe what was happening, yeah? It didn't choose in that moment. It chose even before time even started, yeah? Beginning of time. Now, let's zoom out and let's replace the coin with a human. So, each lifetime, each timeline, each incarnation, yeah? All of them, they are flips in the hand of the one. How so? Because when you think about it, each single flip, right, comes with a specific set of variables, yeah? It's true, and the same applies to you. The same way you're born under a specific sun and moon and constellation and fucking whatever else, that coin flip, i.e. you're a choice being made for consciousness to take on physicality, also is subject to those very variables, and every single time it's changing because no two variables are the same. I made a video called How the One Became Many. Check it out. I talk about this in detail. Now, so when you think about it, all of them are flips in the hand of the one, yeah? All of us are literally coin flips in the hand of the one. And seemingly, it kind of appears that we're all random variables, right? But what's the underlying kind of fundamental building block of all of this? The mechanics is always the same. An unknown or unseen force grabs a coin, flips it, and assigns meaning to, or projects sort of like outcomes or whatever to what's going to happen to that coin. But deep down, it already knows what's going to happen. Yeah, just like when you flip a coin in the fractalized form that you are, and you get the outcome that you expect, you're like, I knew it, right? The part of you that knows it is consciousness itself. You're just mirroring what's actually happening in the quantum field. Yeah, stay with me. So with the mechanics being the same, no two coins or no two coin flips are really different. Yeah, it appears different because of the variables, quote unquote, that we have assigned meaning to, but really it's just energy experiencing itself. Now, when doubt, fear and resistance kind of like creep up whilst the coin is in the air, yeah, turning and flipping and spinning, yeah, they are not obstacles. Yeah, they're not obstacles. They are literally the curvature of the flip. Yeah, what does that mean? It's part and parcel of the experience, so it can only be experienced by the coin itself. So all those things can only be experienced by you when you're in human form. Yeah, once you transcend that, it kind of it's outside of your purview. Really, it doesn't exist. Yeah, because they ultimately give density to the illusion of movement. I think the kids are broken up today, so there's a lot of noise. I've tried to find the most quiet spot I can find in the park, but hey ho. Now, because once the coin, yeah, i.e. once you realize you were never separate from the hand and you see it clearly, the outcome was always predetermined, yeah, but deliberately forgotten so that remembering could be felt and experienced. Let me say that one more time. Once the coin, or once you realize that you were never separate from that hand that flipped you, yeah, you see it clearly. You realize that the outcome was always predetermined, but deliberately forgotten so that remembering could be felt and experienced. You see, we don't flip coins to make our decisions, yeah? We flip them to witness our own resonance. Because when you flip a coin, right, and you project or you assign meaning to the flip, and you know it lands, and you're like, I knew it, yeah. You didn't know, you already knew that was going to happen because you've already collapsed it in the quantum field, yeah. But the human experience is the reason. It's kind of like, think of it as the amnesia between consciousness and the experience of remembering. So you go through all the motions, the flip and the turning and the spinning and the oh my god, and the final moment when the coin is like dancing around, you know, before it finally settles, yeah, for you to actually just know what you already knew all along. Do you understand? So it's your own resonance that replays itself in front of you, but you forget it due to this barrier between the formless and the form, yeah, the avatar. And you think, and so you can experience remembering, you can experience and feel it, right? So we flip the coins really to feel the process of collapsing possibility into presence, yeah? Because we're not here to control outcomes. Like I told you, there's no free will. Yeah. So you're not here to do any of that. You're here to kind of witness the illusion, yeah? And bless it, and remember that you were never just a flip, you're never just a coin, you're never just a human. You are the thing itself within you that knew the outcome. Yeah, I firmly believe, yeah, that most humans actually know the profound truths. Trust me on this. Most humans actually know that they are consciousness having a human experience, believe me, but they don't want to acknowledge it because it's scary. Why is it scary? Because starting to acknowledge the unseen, formless aspect of ourselves, especially when you know you've been living in illusion, is scary because you're having to let go of everything, you know, all the things that you're holding on to make life feel like tangible and real and physical. You're gonna have to let all that kind of stuff go, and realize that there's actually nothing here. Yeah, it's just you and your microcosm. It's a big deal for many, and many would rather choose to sleep. Yeah, so when that happens, it's not really a reflection on them per se. Like I said, it's just like each coin flip, yeah? Sometimes you flip it and you don't get the outcome that you want. It's got nothing to do with you not knowing the outcome. It's just that the coin, yeah, got too entangled, are you listening, in the flip. So it produced an outcome that was not in alignment. That's what happens when humans are too attached to the story. Like I keep telling you, you will simply get deleted and another experience will take your place, because the ultimate goal here is remembering your way back home. Yeah, all the religious texts will tell you about it. The prodigal son, fucking whatever, you know, find your way back to the promised land, and yeah, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, these are just breadcrumbs. That's the key. That's the key. When people pray, you know, or in their moments and they cry out for Jesus, or they go and open a Bible or whatever, yeah, you know, that means there's an inherent belief in something higher than them. But then that thing higher than them understands them, yeah, and even hears their prayer, which means that they have an intimate relationship with that thing. Yeah, that thing is not external because you can't find that thing in the earth. So where can that thing possibly be? And when they pray, where do they pray? Where's the actual location of the conversation? Where does it happen if it doesn't happen within them? The truth is there. You are truth itself. Your truth manifest. Yeah. So many people actually know it. They just don't want to look at it. Yeah. That's the truth. Anyway, that's just them. People do what people do. Let's talk about the edge of the coin, the part that we overlook. This is the most sacred part. Yeah. Because the edge is basically the seat of the observer. It's a very possible and plausible outcome. You can flip a coin and for it to land on its edge. Yeah. But people don't they don't even consider that. Yeah. They don't collapse that possibility, because that's the part that sees both sides, the formless and the form. Yeah. But at the same time, it touches neither side. You know, it's a place between doing and being. Right. And that's the part where essentially, time kind of dissolves and presence takes over, you know, and that's where you really are, if we're being honest, you know. So the real question is not what is going to happen when you flip the coin. The question is, why did you flip the coin in the first place? Why? Yeah. And the answer is because you wanted to feel it. You wanted to experience it. Even though you knew the outcome all along, but you wanted to feel the motions, yeah, to get to the outcome. That's the whole point of life, bro. So it's like, you know, we shouldn't ask these stupid questions like, oh, well, why did we come here then? Because we wanted to feel it. Why did we flip the coin? Like you knew it was heads anyway. Why did you flip it? Why did you flip it? Yeah, why did you flip it? Why did you roll the dice? Why? Why did you place your power within something? Yeah, only to feel it and know the answer anyway. You know, it's very possible for you to flip 100,000 heads in a row. It's a possibility. It exists in the quantum field. It's there, bro. It exists. It's there. It's a real reality. Do you understand? Because you flipped yourself into form. You know, why did you do that? Because you wanted to feel the joy, the heartbreak, the pain, the doubt, the wonder, you know, the smell of your children's cheek, you know, you wanted to see their smiles. You wanted to see their eyes light up when you gave them that Christmas present. You wanted to, you know, see the flowers and sit in the woods and see the sunset and fall in love and get your heart broken and fall in love again and fucking experience rain and, you know, go to the Alps and ski and all the good stuff. Yeah. That's all you wanted to do. Just long enough to remember who you were. That's all it is. That's what life is. Yeah. All the other stuff, my brother, I promise you with everything, bro, is literally meaningless. Yeah. The coin flips, time stretches, outcomes appear. Yeah. But the hand always knew the answer anyway, from day dot. It didn't flip the coin to find out anything. It flipped it to remember that he knew the answer anyway. Do you understand? You know, you're not the flip of the coin, bro. That's just your physical body. You know, you're not the outcome, heads or tails or edge. You're not that either. You are not the reaction. You are the field. You are the intention. You are the silent knowing of all things that existed even before the coin ever left the hand. You know, and now that you remember, you can flip a coin if you like. It doesn't really matter. But you flip it not to decide anything, but to honor the truth of what reality is. Because the truth is you always knew anyway. You just needed to feel it, to believe it again. Anyway, never forget that you are not a human being. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. Your default position, yeah, is not human. Your default position is spiritual.